Do you ever wonder why some freight brokers are able to earn 6 or even 7 figures in income while others struggle and fail? That's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to share with you 7 things that I've noticed, 7 observations, 7 tips to help you earn 6 or 7 figures. Maybe if you're a freight broker startup, or maybe you're struggling, or maybe you're just considering becoming a freight broker, freight agent. This is for you. Lean in, close the door, shut off your phone, and be ready because I'm going to share with you these tips. And listen, just so you know, I saved the best for last. If you really want to earn a 7-figure income, I'm not talking about 7 figures in revenue, I'm talking about 7 figures in income, make sure you stick around for number 7 on the list. I made it last because I want you to hang with me, okay? So number 1 on the list is this: even in the face of fear, they take action. Okay, let me explain to you what I mean. Fear is real. Everybody feels fear. And so when you're starting a new business, or when you're doing sales, or when you're doing something new, fear is very common. And I see it all the time with new startups. Mainly, I see it around the sales aspect. Let me give you an example. They're afraid to do sales calls because they have a fear of rejection, or they have a fear of what somebody might say or what they might think. Okay. So that's a real fear. I see it all the time, particularly in my freight brokers, clients in my freight broker sales accelerator program, right? That's that 8-week coaching program where I teach everybody my entire freight broker sales strategy. But point is that fear is something that I see a lot. But the fact is the people that are the most successful are the ones that navigate that fear, get to the other side. And the only way to do that is to go head on and take action. Okay. So that's an important one. That's number 1. Okay. Even in the face of fear, they take action. Okay. Number 2, they understand their customers' needs. Let me explain to you what I mean. They understand the importance of niching down, finding a freight niche, right? Finding a niche, starting with a niche. Maybe it's something that they're familiar with. Maybe it's something where they see an opportunity. Maybe it's something that they've done some research on, whatever the case may be, whether that freight niche is, based on geography, or it's based on equipment type, or a specific industry, or a hybrid, right? Which is kind of one of the ones I teach. The fact is they understand the importance of niching down. They understand the importance of educating themselves about their niche, educating themselves about the customers and the companies that are in that niche, and then even further educating themselves by gathering sales intelligence on the actual prospects by using LinkedIn or Google or Apollo or other tools, right? So what I found is that they understand their customers' needs. They understand what that is, all right? So it's really important that you understand those customer needs, and it's easier to do that when you niche down, okay? So that's number 2. Number 3, I can't say this enough. They have a proven sales system versus what a lot of people do is they focus on having some old school generic sales script that every shipper's heard before, and it automatically triggers a negative response. And therefore they have to rely on luck or just a pure numbers game. Nobody wants to make thousands of phone calls in order to get one client or one load. Okay. So the reality is that by having a proven sales system, it's kind of like cutting the line, right? It's kind of like having a sales GPS that helps you navigate the entire process, right? And allows you to get there faster and not make a bunch of mistakes or wrong turns along the way, right? So having a system like my Freight Broker Sales Accelerator program, right? Which is the reason why I put that program together. If you guys want to get on the wait list for that, you can check that out at freightbrokerbootcamp.com/waitlist. That's my 8-week Freight Broker Sales coaching and mentoring program where I take that piece of my brain, I transplant it into your head. I teach you my Freight Broker sales strategies and my entire Freight Broker sales system that allowed me to do over $200 million as a freight broker. So having a proven system, not just some one-off script or one-off rebuttal or a couple of questions that you pulled up online that you might ask, that's not a winning approach, right? Hope is not a winning approach, right? You have to have a proven system, right? So that's what I want you to understand. That's another big one, right? That was number 3. Number 4, wow, this is a huge one. They obsess over customer retention. Okay, let me explain to you what I mean. Customer retention is a major key to success in this business. Why? Because if you get a customer and you spend all this time and energy and resources to get a customer, and let's say, for example, that customer is going to pay you $2,000 to move the load, you're going to pay the carrier $1,600, you're going to make $400, 20% margin. But the time and energy that you put into that, you probably didn't even make any money. So the reality is you have to build a repeat business with them. You have to do a load a day, a load a month, multiple loads a day, multiple loads a month over a long period of time. And that's the key, and that's the secret. That's the reason why you only need a small handful of clients to really build a six-figure income. All right. So that's the reality. So you have to focus on customer retention. And the best brokers that I know that consistently earn six figures, high six figures, or even seven figures, they obsess over customer retention. They understand what is called LTV, lifetime value, right? A customer isn't worth $100 or $200 a load. A customer is worth the cumulative effect and the compound effect of that over a 2, 3, 4, 5, 10-year period, right? So if you're able to generate $20,000 a year in profit from one client per year over a 10-year period, right? That's $200,000. So it has a huge impact. So they understand and obsess over customer retention. Okay. That's really, really important. All right. And it's not taught very many places. All right. Number 5, I've said this a million times and I'm going to say it until I'm blue in the face. They focus on relationships over transaction. Okay. Here's the problem in the brokerage industry. Most brokers, most agents are too transactional. They're focused on what's in it for me. What can you give me today? How can I make money in the next 5 minutes? They're not focused on building long-term, mutually beneficial relationships, right? You know, you can tell by the way they talk to carriers, they call on their loads, or you can tell by the way they communicate with shippers based upon it all being about them, right? So the reality is you have to focus on relationships over transactions. I personally would rather make a little bit less on the load by paying a carrier a little bit more or over delivering to the shipper and having them for 5 years than to just have them for a short period of time and make more, right? Would you rather make $1,000 a month from one shipper, or would you rather make $1,000 a month for 10 years on one ship, right? So the reality is that's the lifetime value and they understand that. Okay, enough about that. Number 6. Yeah, this is a big one. I added this one kind of last minute because I was thinking about a friend of mine I saw on LinkedIn. And the thing that really stands out, particularly for high six-figure and seven-figure earners, is they hustle. They hustle, guys. They're available. They work. They don't shut their phone off at 4 or 5 o'clock. They don't show up to the office at 9, right? They hustle. They work on weekends as needed. They work at night as needed. They are available to their clients. They hustle. All right. Perfect example. This is a huge one, right? If you want to be a six-figure, high six-figure, seven-figure earner, like my friend John Rogers, for example, you could check him out on LinkedIn. He posts all the time. He's he's a freight agent. He doesn't own his own brokerage. He's an agent. And in 2024, he earned over $2 million in commissions as an agent, right? He doesn't own his own brokerage. He doesn't have to worry about the back office. He doesn't have all that risk. He doesn't have all that strain. He focuses on customers, right? And he obsesses over those customers and he exerts an enormous amount of energy, time, resources in order to do that. But that's his choice. Now, if you don't want to make 2 million, then maybe you don't have to work 80 hours a week. But if you want to make a high six-figure income, you can't shut the phone off at 4 o'clock at Friday. Okay. So just know that. All right. Number 7, this is the big one, right? If you want to earn 7 figures and you really want to build an income where you can stick 7 figures in your pocket, here's what you have to do. You have to build a team. Okay. Let me explain to you what I mean. Teams in brokerage comprised of basically 3 or 4 groups. You've got employees, right? People that maybe work operations or maybe they do financial or things of that nature, right? Those are W-2 employees. So you build a team. Or maybe it's agents, right? They're independent contractors, 1099 agents. Or maybe it's contractors. Maybe it's people that you're outsourcing work to in Colombia or Pakistan or the Philippines or somewhere else, right? But the point is they understand the power and the importance of building a team, because you're not going to build a 10 or 20 or $50 million brokerage alone. You're not going to build it solo. You're going to need some support. You're going to need some help. That's the biggest difference between someone earning 6 figures or 7 figures as a freight broker or a freight agent. Okay. So those are the 7. I hope you guys enjoyed those. If you did, let me know in the comments which one was your favorite. And also make sure you hit the like button. I'm going to be back here every Monday at 12 p.m. Eastern for a Freight Broker Bootcamp Live. If you're curious about becoming a freight broker or a freight agent, you can check it out at freightbrokerbootcamp.com. If you want to get on the wait list for my Freight Broker Sales Accelerator, get on the wait list. It's typically sold out, but you'll be the first to get notified when new spots become available. Thank you guys for being here. Have an awesome day. Have an awesome week, and I'll see you next Monday at noon.